The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Money Masters. Now, your Money Masters, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes.
Welcome, folks. You got half of the Money Masters here. I'm Steve Rhodes. Thanks so much for joining me. Tom will be back for his show this afternoon from 4 to 6 live. He is out buying real estate. He is trick or treating, looking for a bunch of treats out there. And if you haven't had a chance, folks, to download Tom's paper, The Bull Market in Real Estate, Florida Real Estate, but it really applies just simply to real estate, go to the homepage at tfnn.com. You can download that paper. You'll also see a link over on the right-hand side of our homepage at TFNN for the for his Real Estate Opportunity Fund out there. If you are a qualified investor, it's something that you want to check out. It's a great way to, in my opinion, it's a great way to go ahead and take your retirement funds and put them into an asset that is inexpensive now, that will continue to rise out there. If we take a look at what's rising, it's the stock market. Welcome to the markets are open, and welcome to the show. You've got the Dow up 70 points right now. S&P up 5, the composite and the NDX 100 being the weak links out there. So we're going to take a look at those two indexes. Those mostly led by Apple out there. The composite down 5 points, the NDX down 8. You've got the Russell 2000 up 2 points. The New York Stock Exchange, it's actually the chart that I've got on my screen here. If you're watching us on Tiger TV, if you're listening on your device, your mobile device, your iPad, maybe a radio station, you can always catch an archive of this show on Channel 10 out there. If we take a look around the markets, let's take a look at silver up 43 cents right now. That's up 1 3/10%. Gold up $7 and change. That's up 0.4%. Light sweet crude up 50 cents right now. You've got over in Germany, the DAX is up 17 points. The FTSE, we'll take a look at the FTSE. That's trading lower this morning, off 25 points. The Nikkei in Asia last night, everything was mean and green. 86 points for the Nikkei. That was about a 1% gain. You had the Hang Seng also with a 1% gain, up 213 points. And then the Shanghai up 6. Our call number 877-927-6648. Let's start off by taking a look at the health of the marketplace. We're going to start off with the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the New York Stock Exchange right now trading out. In fact, it was the New York Stock Exchange, if we will, that opened this morning. Although I believe there's probably only about a handful, maybe 100 folks or so on the floor. Let's just stop for a moment. And, a lot of folks going through some changes in their lives for sure, because it was a storm of epic proportion. When you start taking a look at the storm surge, the damage of water, filling up the tunnels, getting back and forth between New York and its boroughs, taking a look at the subway system, taking a look at the New Jersey shore, much beyond the shore. The beach moved. There are people that have beachfront property this morning, and they wish they didn't have beachfront property. So, folks, if there is some way that you can do something to help those folks out there, especially if you've never been through one of these types of catastrophes, now is the time to step up. Red Cross would be a great place to do that. Find some charity out there where you can just simply contribute something, whatever it is that you can, help out your fellow man, woman, child out there. If we do take a look at the New York Stock Exchange here, what we are looking at is the area, this little window, this little gap up that occurred on September the 7th. The low of that was 81.91.81. 81.91.81. That's the low. That gap still remaining open. That is a strong area of support out there. Really, I would say let's draw the line here, because really the strong area of support would be the top of the September 6th area out there. In fact, quite frankly, until that area is taken out on the New York Stock Exchange chart, NYA, if you're looking at my screen here, you've got to consider the markets to still be relatively bullish out here. Of course, there's a number of bearish signs, but right now you've got the markets trying to move higher. They should move higher into jobs report Friday. I believe they're still trying to get the jobs report numbers out on Friday. I expect that day the market will sell off a bit. And then we've got the election. 1 week from yesterday out there. So a lot going on out in the world here in the United States and our marketplace. So right now you've got the New York Stock Exchange. What's holding this in check here right now, what it is testing is this little blue squiggly line. That's the 9-day exponential moving average. The high of that is 82.51.85. You got the New York Stock Exchange got up to 82.52.77. Bullish would be seeing it close above 82.52.77. Certainly, maybe a little fishhook turning up would also be a bit of a bullish sign. But it's all going to be about what's going on inside the NASDAQ and the composite here this morning. So if we do take a look at the NASDAQ here, let's go take a look at the NDX 100. That's what I meant. So if we take a look at the NDX 100, it's trading out at 26.50.63. It's continuing to move downward and perhaps making a retracement into the 0.618 level. That would be right around the 2609 area. What we can see, I'm going to go ahead because I can always draw these back on my screen. So if we just start with somewhat of a clean palette out here, let's just go take a look at an area here that has acted as a resistance line that then now is turned into support. And that's that black horizontal line that's going across my screen. We can see an area here that was tested going back to July 5th, the high out there, 2660. You had another time when it was tested and market move back was on July 19th. It gets up to the 2663. You can see for a period of 3 or 4 days on the July 30th, July 31st, August the 1st out there, each of those highs being 2662, 2657, 2661. So you can see you got an area back there in July. Once that area of resistance was taken out, it became support. You can see the market certainly moved higher from August 3rd forward when it went from the 2657 level all the way up to the high that was established here on the NDX 100. That was on September 21st out at 2878. That area here has been tested. This line, you kind of have this as a little bit of a roving line out here. You're not going to use an exact number, but a little bit of a roving line out here. And that's the area that's really being tested this morning. You get a close below that, and really I would have to say a close below Friday's candle, which would be 2636. Then what should happen here is you should see the NDX 100 move towards at least the retracement level, the 0.618 retracement level. So now we're going to go from the lows of June 4th, that is 2443, all the way up to the highs on September the 21st out here. You can see the low there, or the 0.618 level, being at 2609. And it doesn't like being in between levels. How would you like to be on an elevator and get stuck somewhere in the middle? That's exactly where the NDX is right now if you take a look at swing point low to swing point high out there. Which way is this going to resolve itself? Well, let's go take a look at Apple out here. Apple having a big impact on the NDX, I believe, still being in that 17% plus range, perhaps even more of the weighting structure inside the NDX 100. So you got Apple trading off $15 right now. Apple trying to go back and rescue some of its passengers. We take a look at Apple. Give me a second here to pull that chart up on the screen. There she is. So we take a look at Apple. It's traded out at 588.78 right now. That is making its way right back here to this little open gap. That open gap is the July 27th high, 585.83. Should easily be able to get back there. Right now it's dealing with the bottom of the gap. That really takes you up to the next candle. That is on July 30th. The low of July 30th is 587.82. It has gotten down to 587.70. So it's already gotten down to that level. Let's put this on an intraday chart. Let's see, the market been trading here. Everybody, well, I won't say everybody back to work because that's certainly not the case. But in the first 45 minutes of trading, we've got 5.5 million shares. Let's go take a look at Apple on an intraday chart, see what Apple is doing out here. Let's go take a look at a 10-minute chart. So Apple moving into a oversold condition. Let me just refresh my chart, make sure I've got all of the live data here. So you've got Apple right now trying to take out not a lot of, there we go. Okay. So let's take a look here at Apple. So if we take a look at the open, you had some volume come out. Now, of course, Apple, during the 2 days that the trading was closed, I believe it was Monday afternoon, there were, I don't recall the executives, key executives, one, both having to do, I believe, with the iPhone. A couple of key executives leaving Apple. And so, of course, it was nice for Apple to come out with that during the period that the market was trading, was closed. Of course, not necessarily closed overseas, but certainly closed here in the United States. So Apple right now on the 10-minute chart should begin to lose some of its energy to the downside as it reaches a little bit of an oversold status. We'll see whether or not Apple is going to bounce. If it does bounce, what it's going to run into is a supply line at 940 on October 26th, the low, which is 603.59. It happens to be right about where the close was on Friday. Friday's close was 603.70 out here. So on an intraday basis, that's what Apple is doing. Let's go to Ken in Fort Madison, Iowa. Ken, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
So what did you do while the markets were closed?
Well, I just kind of listened to you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, we appreciate you doing that. Do you have any friends, family, relatives, anybody on the East Coast that was affected?
No, mine are either here or west of here. So.
Okay, all right. Pretty amazing stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrible. Have you heard anything from Basil? Was he hurt by the storm?
You know, I was actually just checking. I know he was in the den earlier. I don't know if he's got some electricity problems or issues. I suspect that he may, but we'll find out here because he's going to follow the show from 11 to 12 to the best of my knowledge. So
Very good.
He'll certainly have some first-hand information for us. But pretty amazing the images and pictures that are that have come out and are going to come out.
Oh, we surely have to send some of Tom's white light up there.
We absolutely do. It's your white light that they need, my friend. It's
Absolutely.
yours. So you wanted to take a look at Clean Energy Fuels Corp.
Yes.
Tell me what you're doing and how I can help you.
Well, I've been watching it for a while, and it's gone down considerably in the last few days, at least.
Yes, it's back down this morning here, trading out at 11.49. Is there a target that you have on this, or?
I was looking for $11. But
Okay. Well, looks like you're probably going to get that. That's what it is doing on the daily chart here. Now, it's taken out its last swing point. It did that this morning on the daily chart. That happens to be the June 4th area, kind of a critical area when you when you consider this equity and its June 4th low versus the market in general. This thing hasn't had a lot of strength in it. What I mean by that is June 4th, this was trading, the low was $12.13. It only made a run up to the $17 mark, not even $16.75. Most other equities made runs back for their highs. This one here wasn't able to do that. What it has done this morning, the low of that June 4th level is 12.13, 1.9 million shares. So let's see, Ken. So far today, this is traded out. So, wow, volume in it, 609,000 shares. So it's taking out that little swing point with volume. So if we take a look at other areas where this is likely headed to, could be headed to $9 and change, which takes you all the way back to October 4th. Now, it has a little bit. Okay, we're going to break. Would you be kind enough to hold during the break?
You bet.
Okay, we're going to come back to Ken from Fort Madison, Iowa. You too can get in on the action, folks. 877-927-6648. We're going to give away a half ounce of silver in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Millionaires are made every day. The fact is, living your dreams is possible. Someone, somewhere is going to get rich. My recommendation is, let that be you. Each day, someone is making the decision to better themselves and creating a plan to fulfill their financial dreams. Let that be you. The key to turning dreams into reality is to take massive action. Let that be you. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Masters Show with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN, and I can help you with your journey to great wealth. I'll show you how to create the ultimate financial edge, a set of tools, insights, and strategies that are part of my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. You'll have direct access to me by phone, email, and my private library of trading and investing secrets for 30 days with an unconditional money-back guarantee. I'll take your trading to the next level. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage at TFNN.com and turn your dreams into reality. Mastering Probability, folks. Let that be you.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the Money Masters Show, folks. I'm your host, co-host, Steve Rhodes. Tom is out for the day. He'll be back, not for the day, just simply for this hour here. He will be back for his shows from 4 to 6. In fact, the lineup today, I believe we've got Basil Chapman going up to Newton, Mass., so we'll certainly get some stories about the Hurricane Sandy if he's online with us from 12 to 1. Larry Pesavento today. 1 to 2 is Daryl Martin. Sorry about that. A little brain fart there. David White, 2 to 3. Ken Shreve, 3 to 4. And Tom from 4 to 6. And we do have, this is Halloween, and also part of our Great Panther Silver giveaway program. Our winner this hour, half ounce of silver, is Ira in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Folks, if you haven't signed up for the Great Panther Silver giveaway, please go to the homepage of TFNN.com. Sign up for it. We're giving away a half ounce of silver every hour today, a half ounce of silver every hour tomorrow that we're on the air, and then 1 ounce on Friday for each hour that we're on. We're going back to our man Ken in Madison, Iowa. We are taking a look at clean energy. CLNE is the ticker symbol. Clean energy fuels, they provide natural gas as an alternative fuel for vehicle fleets in the United States. So I guess this is a play here, of converting, trucks and so forth to natural gas, which hasn't, I guess, gotten a lot of legs. These folks have lost a bunch of money out there. In fact, they haven't made money. My financial statements, I just took a quick peek. From 2008, they haven't made money. It's a good thing they've got some cash in the bank because they're not making money. Now, what the equity is doing, I just pulled up the weekly chart here for you, Ken. And it is real close to the swing point that goes back into that October. Is it October? Yeah, October 7th. So the high there is $11.11. That might be its lucky number, 11.11. So look for it to get there. It had a nice bullish engulfing candle the week of October the 14th. But what you'd like to see, and on a daily basis, is starting to get into an oversold area. But, I mean, I understand what you're looking at. At least I think what you're looking at. It's got some nice volume up at the highs on the weekly chart, which goes back to March 23rd, 2012, out at $24.75. So, you know, that's one area to be taking a look at this equity. I do believe if it does bounce, though, what you're going to run into probably is a little bit of resistance at about the $12.99 level. So what you'd really like to see on an equity like this, as this thing has pulled down, you know, if you're going to do some bottom fishing, you're going to have to use some tight stops and maybe go in and out. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to use whatever position it is that you would take, probably only take maybe a quarter of it to a third of it initially and let it prove itself. But wait for some bulls to show up. I haven't seen any bullish candles here really in quite some time. And but this thing is getting to be oversold. So what you don't want, don't want you to do is get head faked by seeing a little bit of a bounce here. What you want it, because get oversold, it's got to work that off, which could either move a little bit higher or move sideways. And not that it can't trade a little bit lower, but it's starting to get into the range where you would expect to see some type of bounce. What you would like to see, if this is a bottom, is some type of sign of strength. And that would be wide price spread, high volume bar, then let it pull back and then go ahead and get in. If you're looking at this from a longer term standpoint.
Okay.
Is that what are you looking at it from a longer term, or are you looking at?
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So knowing that from a longer term standpoint, and you're headed towards that $25-ish mark out there, let it do that. Let it show you. Get behind the wind. Go ahead and draft those folks that are coming in there that have got a sign of strength. Okay.
Okay. Hey, if you get a chance, can you take a look at BKCC?
Well, we can do that here for you right now. How about that? So we're going to go take a look at BKCC as a ticker symbol. That is BlackRock Kelso Capital. They are a private equity firm specializing in investments. Let's go take a look at this stock chart, see what it's doing. Why don't you tell me what you're doing out here and how I can help you there?
Well, it's another one that I'm just looking at. It has a nice dividend.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at it for a price.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So traded out at 10.08 right now. This thing here is really been consolidating between the prices of about $10 and a change, $10.20, $10.50. Most recently all the way down to this little high volume low that you'd like to see tested. So an entry point on this for you would be as it comes into the September 18th date, which did 1.7 million shares to the downside, September 18th. You can see that this thing here has an area of resistance that has been tested. What I'm going to, Ken, is the gap on this equity from September 17th. The low there is 10.20. I'm going to draw a line across it. And what you can see is as the equity has gotten up there each time, and it's done it with lighter volume, 437,000 shares versus 700,000 shares, it's rejected it. That says to me it at least wants to come back and test $9.57. If it can do that, less than 1.6 million shares, close above it, that might be your entry point.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling, Ken. You have a great morning. You bet. 877-927-6648. Dow's up 52 points. DAX trying to hold on to its gains, up 12 points. We come back, we'll go take a look at the FTSE.
You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV, as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. TFNN and Great Panther Silver have teamed up for another exciting silver giveaway. The Great Panther Silver Halloween giveaway will be taking place at the end of October, and for 3 full days, we'll be giving away silver coins and bars every hour from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. to one lucky winner randomly chosen. There's no purchase necessary. For more information and to fill out your registration form today, simply visit the front page of TFNN.com where you'll find all the details. October 29th, 30th, and 31st, we'll choose one lucky winner that will receive a silver coin or bar courtesy of Great Panther Silver. Winners will be announced live on the air each hour for 3 full days. Don't miss out on this great opportunity to win free silver from TFNN and Great Panther Silver. Register today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com, and for more information on Great Panther Silver, you can click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex, symbol GPL, or on the Toronto Stock Exchange, symbol GPR. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got the Dow up 35 points right now. S&P up 1, Composite down 11, small caps up a point here. And let's go take a look at the FTSE over in the UK. As we go over there, the FTSE right now, it's trading at 58.14. That is down 35 points here. Not really a whole lot of information is the FTSE giving to us. You can see this thing has been trading in really a sideways consolidation level right here. The FTSE was up nicely yesterday, pulling back slightly, giving back some of its gains today. The FTSE trying to make a run for the swing point high out here, areas of resistance back in the October 18th level. That would be out at the 59.28 level. Let's go back over to the DAX, see what the DAX is doing. That is trading up 7 points right now, so thus far giving back all of its early gains out here. However, kind of normal. If we take a look at the DAX is on its way up into the swing point high, up into the top of its consolidation range, which is really the October 18th level. You can see this black line if you're watching us on Tiger TV. If you're not, you can catch us on Channel 10 here, so you'll be able to catch a replay of this show on Channel 10. And what we're taking a look at here, this black horizontal line, that's really at the highs. That's your top of your consolidation range. The bottom really being the gap up from the September 6th to September 7th level. That's that black horizontal line. You got a nice movement, nice bullish engulfing candle on the 26th on Friday. Monday was just really a sideways day, a little gap up here yesterday in the DAX. Now, if we take a look at from the swing point high, its most recent swing point high, which would be October the 18th, down to the low, what you're going to see is the DAX got just above the 0.618 level, almost to the 0.786. It's a normal level where you would do what? You would let people off of the elevator. You know, when you come visit us at Suite 618, you're going to get off the elevator. The stock charts, they work the same way. Got up into that 0.618 level, so it's backing off a bit. If we take a look over at the currency here, if we take a look at just simply a 5-minute chart here on the euro, what we're taking a look at is this also backed up. It made an A to B equals CD down. If we take a look at that pattern, we'll come to the 7:25 a.m. time frame. You had the euro out at a high of 1.30193. That's your A point. Your B point, it backs off into 8:10 a.m. Gets to a low of 1.29971. Moves a little bit higher, retraces into the 9 o'clock time frame. Now it's done a 1 to almost a 1.618 A to B equals CD down. Not a lot of bulls yet really showing up, but just doing a normal pattern. If we take a look at the retracement, we'll go from the low out here came in at 3:30 in the morning last night, or early this morning, I guess I should say. And you'll see that also where the euro backed off to almost that sweet 618 level before it started moving a bit higher. Let's go to Beverly in Hopewell, New Jersey. Beverly, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding.
Well, at least we have electricity here.
Oh, that's good. Well, tell us about so where is Hopewell, New Jersey?
It's about 15 miles northeast of Trenton.
Okay.
So, but we just have trees down everywhere, entire trees leaning on houses. The biggest issue here is locally is gasoline.
Okay. And as far as being
a lot of the credit, it's not where I live, but just a few miles away, the credit card companies, credit card machines are not working.
Okay.
So it's cash only. That's a lesson for people.
Yes, absolutely.
And people who had generators have run out of gasoline, and they're desperately trying to find a gas station that's open.
Yes.
And they're reporting at some of the ones that are open, there's 50 to 100 cars in line.
Yes. Yeah.
And the radio stations are actually broadcasting for free locations of gas stations that are open, food stores and drug stores that are open.
Which is great. Everybody needs to chip in. And unfortunately, living here in Florida, having been through a number of hurricanes, I've got all. I certainly remember making those runs before the hurricanes hit, getting my 5-gallon and 1-gallon jugs of gasoline, and just buying all the gasoline. Tom, I listened to Tom's show a couple days ago before the storm hit, and one of the great things that he told folks to do was fill up their bathtubs, your dishwashers, not your dishwashers necessarily, your washer with water, everything that you possibly could with water, because that's also a big element out there, is having enough water, to either be able to cook with and everything else. So what does it look like as far as you have electricity, you said, right?
Well, we have electricity at our house. We have no cable, so there's no internet, no telephones, no cell phones.
Yes.
All over the state, the cell phone towers have blown over, so even those don't work.
In that case, I know what they'll do is they'll wheel in mobile units. I'm sure that's probably what they're working on now. So they'll get that up and running fairly quickly, I would think. And
the food stores are pretty much out of water and food.
Yeah.
The only place to go is really the little corner Wawas. The convenience stores are still open.
Sure.
Somehow those people, they must sleep there.
Well, we're glad to hear that you're safe. How about any family and friends that are closer to the coast? And
yeah, I have one woman I've sold her a lot of furniture. Her house is one of those houses that up near Manalapan.
Okay.
The gas fires burnt to the ground.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. And I'm sure that the pictures that we're going to see coming out of this thing, are just going to continue to be amazing. A pretty incredible storm out there.
I bet half of the pictures can't even get out.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Yeah. Because when you again, you're saying cell phone coverage is a little bit tough out there. In fact, what you should do is, if you're listening and you're experiencing cell phone problems, what you really ought to do is, especially if you're trying to reach somebody, is send them a text. Because as opposed to continue to try to redial, because text, what they'll do is they'll continue to try to push out, so you don't have to sit there and keep redialing or what have you, just to get in touch with somebody out there. But we're glad that you're doing fine, and it is an unfortunate circumstances, but it's everybody will rebuild.
I think they will. The insurance companies will see how they do. But I have a question for you.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, since I sell things.
Okay.
I'm always curious about your expression oversold.
Okay.
What is that?
Well, it's where a market gets extended. So when we take a look at markets, the markets are continuing to make these different patterns out there. Oftentimes you're making an A to B equals CD pattern. And oftentimes, 60% of the times, it'll just simply be a 1-to-1 A to B equals CD pattern. The other 40% of the time, it will be an extension of that. When the market starts getting extended, it's like a rubber band wrapping around your finger, and at some point in time, it just simply, now markets to the upside will get oversold. To the downside, will get overbought. To the downside, they'll get oversold. And there are different tools to be able to measure that with stock charting tools out there. One of them I like to use multiple tools. So some of those tools are going to be A to B equals CD patterns. Others that I use the relative strength indicator. It was made popular by J. Wells Wilder. He's the one that developed that. He developed the average true range, a little bit different than the way that I use average true range, but that's a volatility indicator. He identified or created the directional movement indicator, oftentimes referred to as ADX. He also developed the parabolic stop and reverse, SAR. Sometimes you might see that on one of the tools on your charting systems. But there's different methods for using the relative strength indicator. I teach my clients and the folks that attend my workshops how to use that different than others do. Now, if you read his book, he actually reveals it in there, but what you've got to do is you've got to sift through the pages to get to the way in which I go ahead and use it. But what I do have, I have it up on my screen here, and I have it on the 5-minute Euro chart. And what you can see here is we're taking a look at two different levels. There's two on the bottom of my screen. You're looking at the indicator, relative strength index, and the black horizontal lines going across the screen. You're going to see a level of 70, that's at the top, and 30 at the bottom. As price or as the market starts moving into that area, as it gets into that 70 level, you start looking for overbought condition. And you start looking for different patterns in order to identify a reversal, if you're trying to play it as a reversal pattern. And what you can see is when you start getting above 70, you start headed towards 80 or higher. And let me put the actual, let me put this one little tool, the study object, on my screen here. If we take a look at the relative strength indicator, the euro at 440 this morning got up to a level of 83.81. That's really getting into an overbought territory. But what happened with the euro, if you're looking at my screen? Actually consolidated, which is one way you work off an overbought condition. It works the exact same way on the downside here. But it worked it off and it moved higher. But as it moved higher, as it was coming into the time period of 725 this morning, the relative strength indicator was only 67. So it was lower at a higher price than it was when it first made its high out here at 440 this morning. That was giving you a pretty good indication that there was a reversal that was going to take place. What happens? The euro moves down. It completes a 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. Does that at 9:25 this morning. As it was doing that, moving down to the downside, it hits the lower level. It hits that 30 level. And then you see the euro just simply move sideways, up to slightly sideways, and work its way off. So I'm just simply referring to where you're going to be able to see the market actually change its trend out there. How you use it from a trading standpoint, really it's more helpful to understand the A to B equals CD patterns as well as candlesticks that are going to give you the signals to possibly take a trade. Does that help clear that up?
I'm watching you and learning as you are speaking.
Okay. So, all right. So that's how I use it. Tinker around with it, or go get J. Wells Wilder's book. Great books out there. Really intelligent guy. And then find a way to be able to use that with the tools that you use, okay?
Thanks a lot.
And stay safe up there. Stay safe. All right?
Always.
And thanks for calling. We appreciate it. Let's go to British Columbia, where I believe, kind of overshadowed, we had tsunami warnings coming out of British Columbia on, was that Sunday, Rick?
Actually, it was about Saturday night.
Saturday night. Okay, so early Sunday morning. Okay, great.
Yeah, it was actually, surprisingly, it was a 7.7.
Yeah, it was a big earthquake.
It was a good-sized one. Well, that San Andreas Fault, if I'm saying it right, goes right from Alaska down to California.
Okay.
And 1963, there was a big one in Anchorage. I don't know how big. And Probably 1,000 miles to the south, it did tsunamis to an island that we have close to Vancouver there.
Okay.
Called Vancouver Island. And so, you know, I guess it's always a good thing to get a little shaken and going because...
so it was about midnight your time or so?
Midnight your time, actually, 8:20 our time.
It was, okay. So now what kind of warnings, went out, as you... So were you watching, were you out? Were you watching, sports or movies?
I was on the second floor watching the World Series, actually.
Okay. And then, boom, they come out.
I believe it was the World Series I was watching.
Yeah.
I was with my cousin who'd never been in one, and we were just, we were in a motel there, and just sitting on our beds watching the game, and I said to him, you know what, this is an earthquake, because I was in one
How about that?
2 years ago, but it was a much smaller one. That was my first one, and then actually after I said it, things even got worse.
Well, now where's your cousin from? Is he?
He's from Vancouver.
He is. Okay.
Yeah, they have not had one.
Wow.
That I'm aware of to any degree for quite a while.
Yeah. So you'd been in one before, and how would you compare that one to the one you were in this time?
Oh, well, the other one that I was in, I think, was like a 6.5, and this one was a 7.7. So, in essence, I could feel, it was quite a bit stronger. I would say probably almost twice the strength.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was, it's interesting because I remember waking up Sunday morning, flipping on it was early because I typically wake up pretty early. It doesn't matter whether I'm working or not, and caught the mere fact that there was this earthquake out there. And originally, I think they were talking about tsunami warnings, up around the islands, in your neck of the woods. The next thing I know, they're talking about they cut in maybe about 7 or 8 in the morning, 6 or 7 in the morning my time, into Hawaii. They were live in, I think it was Honolulu, or maybe, it was Honolulu TV, taking a look at the first wave that was coming in. So it's pretty wild. Yeah,
they did have tsunami warnings, but they called it off real quick.
Yeah. So a lot of weather catastrophes. Now, was there any serious damage up in?
You know what? Amazingly not.
Okay, that's cool.
And it was right in the middle of an inhabited island called the Queen Charlotte Islands, and they've changed it to the native name now called Haida Gwaii.
Okay.
And from what I'm, so there's not a lot of people there. I mean, there is, maybe I don't know, 5,000-10,000 on the island.
Okay.
Total.
Yeah.
But it was 10 miles down.
Yes. Okay.
From what I know.
Right. Well, pretty wild, and I don't know what the coverage is of the storm here, in our Northeast, but that's a pretty amazing storm, and we could see it coming because the storm was off the coast of Florida, never really came close to Florida, maybe 100, 200 miles, something like that. But the beach erosion that occurred along the entire eastern seaboard was nothing short of miraculous for a storm that was hundreds of miles off the coastline. In Hawaii, you see, you got the Banzai pipeline, those big 25-foot waves, 15-foot waves, or what have you. We were experiencing those on the east coast of Florida with the storm being out there. So the mere power and energy that it had coming on shore didn't really surprise me. Of course, the devastation, it's pretty amazing out there. But we come back from break. We're going to go back up to Rick in British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia. And we're going to go take a look at the energy sector, the XLE. 877-927-6648, Dow up 24, S&P just about flat right now, up 39 cents. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to tfnn.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
Catch Basil Chapman as he uses his Chapman Wave methodology to call the markets. The Tiger Technicians Hour, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks, to the Money Masters Show. We've got the Dow up 18 points right now. S&P off 45 cent. Composite struggling, down 16 points. Russell 2000 up 28 cents right now. Going back up to British Columbia to our man Rick, taking a look at the energy sector. I think that is maybe is that the number 2 weighting inside the S&P? Do you know, Rick?
I really don't know.
Number 2 or number 3? One of the top 3 holdings inside the S&P. So it's an important sector to understand what's going on inside. So tell me what you're doing and how it can help you.
I'll tell you what I see.
Yeah.
I looked at the oil contract.
Okay.
And I see a nice little head and shoulder top, the neckline at about 87.50. Excuse me, and then the head up at $100.
Yeah.
And it's going to take it down to about $75.
Yes, I think it'll come all the way back to the swing point low, at least, and test out that June 28th level. I agree with you.
That doesn't mean we can't rally to 90. Like, I think 90 would be resistance now, whether, whether we go all the way down first or whatever. Then what I like to do is I put the XLE on a monthly chart.
Okay. Give me a second here. I'll switch back over there. Go ahead. I'll do that while you're... Go ahead.
I see a nice little false break on July above June by about 15% at least.
Okay. And you just simply, because you're taking a look at the lack of volume, lack of conviction on the way up.
Quite often I like to just correlate the two, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
And before I sign off, I'll just go one more.
Yeah.
If we could do the GLD on a monthly one more time.
Yep, let me do that here. I'll do that. Won't switch over. So we got the GLD monthly. Go ahead.
160. False break on volume down there. The lows are okay because May tested December with lighter volume, but you see the 160 there is a false break, and that would take gold down to about 1630 or whatever.
Yeah,
it looks to me like it wants to go to 1740 before we go down there, though.
It does. It's going to be an interesting play here, with the U.S. elections, with Bernanke out there. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of liquidity that hasn't really hit the marketplace here.
Well, I'll tell you, I watch your elections like a hawk, and Christie, your Republican who backs Romney,
yes,
had nothing but good things to say about Obama and his reaction. And Christie's pretty shaken up because the Jersey Shore was just leveled, and he grew up there, and his family went there.
Yeah.
When he was a kid, and he took his kids there, and he's just like, he said yesterday was a day of sorrow.
Oh, big time.
And now we got to be calm and take care of ourselves. Give us a week to get organized. And Obama and him are going to walk.
Well, there's
I'm not going to say hand in hand. It's pretty hard to see a Republican or Democrat walk hand.
Look, but
they're going there today.
Look, the reality is that there's times for politics, I suppose, and there's time just simply where
Exactly.
it doesn't matter what political affiliation, what religious affiliation, what any affiliation. You work together as a fellow person, and you just pitch in and help out. In the United States, the role of our government is to protect its citizens, and this is the time when you're supposed to step forward. So it doesn't matter who is or isn't the president. And around the world, that's in essence what happens out there.
I think there were even people still stranded last night because they couldn't get out because of too much water. They were up in their second floor.
I don't doubt it. I think the images that will continue to pour in that we only just really brushed the surface. The surface doesn't look very good. Everything will be rebuilt, that's for sure. I think the greatest news is the loss of life was kept to really a minimum. I think they're less than 50. Not that that's
No, you're right. You're right about that.
But when you consider the size of that storm, that's the real silver lining out there. So. Rick, as always, thanks for calling. Always good to hear your voice. Stay tuned today, folks. Basil Chapman should be up next. I believe he's got some stories to share with us. Larry Pesavento, Daryl Martin, David White, Ken Shreve, the full lineup today. Tom will be with you from 4 to 6. Have a fantastic morning, folks. Take care. See you tomorrow.